Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very first show in a new series. It's a 9-part series for the next 7 days or so, and it's looking at photographs from the 5-day challenge that I recently did, and also it's an introduction to the masterclass. I'm looking like this today. Hello, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so this is a series, it's a warm-up for the masterclass, but you don't have to do the masterclass to watch. And what's going to happen is I'm going to talk about 9 photographs from the 5-day challenge that I just ran in my creative smartphone photography group. So it's not really interactive as such, but I will be giving at least one tip or one reason why I like 9 photographs, plus 2 of mine, by the way, and maybe a way in which it could be improved, but I'm not sure about that. We'll see how it goes. And then, so that's going to be maybe 20 minutes. And then the last 10 minutes is an introduction to the masterclass, if you're interested in doing it, how it works, and you can ask me questions if you like. And there's an early bird price, so make sure you get that if you want to, and it's starting on Monday. So let's get right into it because I speak too much normally. So if you look at this, these are 9 photographs of mine that I will be looking at. And as you can see here, the first one is circled, and that's the first one I'm going to look at. So I'm going to bring my screen in. Here it is. And I'm going to give you one tip for each photograph, and we'll see how long that takes. Feel free to say hello in the comments if you like. I might not say hello back too quickly, but going to try and keep it focused. So this one is, and I'm going to, for each of my photographs at the beginning of each day, each show, I'll give you a kind of general area of photography that this photograph illustrates. And for me, this one is about capturing the decisive moment. Now, this is a thing, an official thing in photography. And I think it was 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗏𝗄, famous Paris street photographer, a social photographer, who talked about the decisive moment. Now, it sounds like there's one moment. It's the only one that you can capture. If you don't get that, your photo's a bit not worth it. I don't look at it that way. I look at it that you want to capture a really important moment in time, but you don't really know which one it's going to be. You've just got to be aware. You've got to be ready. And if you look at this, I think I've caught a really good moment in time. One bird is sitting sort of contemplatively on top of the Paris metro sign, and another one is zooming by, floating by overhead in an absolutely beautiful bird-like shape, strangely enough. And it's that contrast, the one that's sitting there, maybe contemplating, and the other one that's moving. You could imagine all sorts of metaphors. So for me, this is a beautiful illustration of the decisive moment. And just one other thing on that. You don't get decisive moments by seeing them and then grabbing your camera, because that ain't how it works. You've got to do this kind of magical thing where you're waiting for a decisive moment, but you don't know what it's going to be and you don't know when it's going to come. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's pretty interesting. All right. And also another photographic point on this, there's a very nice diagonal thing going on there. And there's a repetition of lamps. I've got to stop there. I'll be giving away too many secrets. All of these things will be covered. Everything I say will be part of the masterclass. Right. Let's move on to your photographs. If you did the 3-day challenge, these are your photographs that I'm going to appreciate. Today, I'm looking at day 1 photographs, and the day 1 theme was looking up, looking down, or shooting with your camera, not straight ahead, or shooting from down low, or shooting from up high. This one is from Angela in Greece. And this is actually, it looks like it could be straight on, doesn't it? It's a shadow on the sand. And it's a superb action shot. I still can't work out. It can't be her taking the photograph because the shadow has got 2 hands. Stunning movement. The black and white. Well, it's not black and white. It's a color photograph, but because it's a shadow, it looks like black and white with very soft tones of sand. And it's a very pure photograph as well. There's only really 2 tones. There's a light tone and the dark tone. And look at the fingers on that hand. They've gone all wiggly. So you can see that it's not a real person. And then there's this mysterious shadow on the left, which it almost looks like somebody's face, doesn't it? Their nose coming in and 2 lips. But I don't think it is. It's a mysterious photograph. I absolutely love it. Well done. So that was great. Oh, just by looking down. And maybe she got someone to dance around a bit. Now this is from Dorothy. And Dorothy's looking down. She's looking down at a, what do you call that? Crazy paving, I used to call that. I don't think I've said that expression since my childhood. Crazy paving path, which seems to be in the shape of a star. Now, the one thing I would say about this is all spontaneous, by the way. Nothing is prepared. My spontaneous thoughts is that when you're looking down at patterns on the ground, you could do two things. You can make it clear what it is. So you can have real human things in there, like feet or waste trash cans or, you know, benches, or you can go abstract and you can literally just make it patterns of the sort that you might see on a wall or on a piece of cloth. This is kind of hovering between the two because you can see that there is some sort of pattern there. And there's a pot. I would have maybe gone for trying to focus more on the pattern, including the bits of grass coming in and maybe punctuating it from the bottom as well. But then I wasn't there, so I don't know. And also this pot on the left is cool. It's good because it's not the same as the rest. It's a point of focus, but it's slightly chopped on the left. Just saying, just saying. All right, let's look at number 3. And this one is from Iskra. Now, I mean, it was a kind of strange thing, you know, point your camera up, down. People were thinking, well, what can I take photographs of? Well, part of the point is you don't know what you're going to see when you look up and down. And when you do, you see things you've never necessarily seen before, and certainly never thought of taking a photograph of. So she took a photograph of this, and it's pretty interesting, isn't it? Well, maybe you don't think it is, but as soon as you move away from reality and think abstract, anything can be interesting. You can stop thinking of it as a roof and, you know, with a bit of a door in there. You can start thinking of it as light and dark, lines with other lines at right angles, with this huge, big blob of white in the top left-hand corner, which is a very nice compositional element. I like this line, actually, just this line that comes chugging down to the middle at the bottom, then it kind of zigzags with some irregularities because of the beams. So I like it as just a study in shape and form. So that's really nice. Right, number 4 is Lauren. And this one, I'm going to make it slightly bigger. I might lose some of it. This is cool. She's looking down and taking a photograph. Now, what she's done is clever. You see how she's made it tall and narrow. And that's great because it accentuates the subject. The subject of her feet is the person who's going to go down the steps you go down, and then up at the top of the photograph, interestingly, the path that leads on to who knows where. I think it's stronger that she's chopped it on the sides than if she'd left it with other stuff, because what would the other stuff be? We don't know, but it wouldn't have strengthened this idea of going ahead, forwards, and in the photograph, upwards. It's funny. She'll be going down the steps, and yet I'm assuming they're going down. She'll be going down the steps and yet upward in the photograph. Isn't that an interesting way of looking at things? And she's in the photograph. I guess it's her tootsies. We can see there, beautifully painted with blue nail varnish. I've never tried that. Could be something to do before I die. Put it on the list. Paint my toenails. So that's great. Thank you for that. Just checking the time. I'm at 10 minutes. How am I doing? Normally I'm late. I think I'm doing okay. So thanks very much for that, Lauren. Great entry there. Now this one touches me a lot. It's from Christina. And it's shells and stones on a beach. Or is it just shells? Maybe it's just shells. Because I did a poem once, a long time ago. I think I called it color poem in brackets, Shells and Stones for Angie, my daughter. And over 20 years ago now. And it was hands. It was my hand and another person's hand holding this sort of thing. All sorts of colored stones and pebbles and shells from the beach. And I made a poem with each verse was a different color from the things in the shot. Anyway, that's me rambling. But you see what photography does? It takes you out of yourself. It brings up memories of yourself, if you took it, and other people make associations. That's why it's so powerful. That's why it's so great to share photographs. You have no idea what thoughts and emotions you're going to stir in the person looking at it. She had a great discussion with herself and with others in the group, in the challenge, about she did it with harsher lighting, with softer lighting, higher up, lower down. And on this one, she settled on this one because she liked the fact that skimming along, she's low down, I think, skimming along, you actually end up by seeing what looks like the sea, which is good because it's an echo of the shells, shells, sea, they go together. So if you've got echoes of the main subject, it makes it a richer, fuller photograph. So and it's out of focus, which is nice. Christina, thank you very much for that one. Beautiful, that one. Now, this is Ruth. Now, you might think this is a self-portrait, a selfie. No, it's not. It's not a selfie. I mean, it is, but it's not. This was part of the looking up and looking down day. And she's looking down, but the camera is looking up. So get your head around this. It's very cool because what she wanted to show was what it might look like to kids. And to do that, she's put the camera where the kid would be. Probably, I don't know, I was going to say in a cot, probably not, but maybe looking down, the camera down, looking up. And because the camera is us, when we look at the photograph, we are the baby. We are the baby in this shot. And Mummy Mummy Ruth is doing mummy things and probably making mummy noises as well. And that's a very beautiful thing, to get the viewer into the photograph, almost interacting and maybe interacting emotionally. And she's got such a beautiful smile. You can see she's looking down, maybe her hair's hanging down slightly. You can see the curtains and therefore the top of the curtains, therefore it's the ceiling above her. So she's looking down. We've got the clues that help us understand what's going on here. And yeah, I just love this. It's just beautiful. And the angle, there's a nice angle there in the top corner, which is another thing. I won't say this too often, but it's everything I'm talking about here is part of what happens in the smartphone masterclass. I'll tell you about it in a little while. After 20 minutes, the last 10. If you've seen it before, if you've heard me before, if you're booked on the masterclass already, you can go and do something else. But I will be telling you about the masterclass, which starts on Monday. And this is all part of it. Right, let's go on to number. Wait a minute, I've lost count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is number 7, yeah. And this is Sana, and I think she's in the States. I've got a feeling she might have North European origins. Maybe that's absolute nonsense. I don't know what I'm talking about. But she's got a great shot looking up. And well, what do you look up at? You could look up at a tree. You could look up at the sky. Fair enough. But what is the double layer of meaning, which I am often looking for? Not always, but I'm often looking for a double layer of meaning. So what is it here, if there is one? Well, she chose to take a photograph of one of those neighborhood watch signs. And it's a rather, I don't know if it's sinister, but it's, it's not happy smiley. It says, "Criminals beware, Project NOLA." And you can just see at the bottom, it says neighborhood watch. Okay, so what's the double layer of meaning here? Well, she's down below this sign, and the sign has a rather slightly spooky face on it. And with a sort of serious warning, "Criminals beware." It's as though the face is looking down on us. I feel slightly intimidated when I look at this sign because I'm being looked down on, not upon, looked down on. And it's very clear that that's the case because I can see the sky behind, not the landscape. And that's good, you see. For photography, it's good. It's layers of meaning. So if you'd taken this sign straight on, it would have been a neighborhood watch sign. When it's looking down on you, telling you to beware, there's echoes of a parent or a teacher or the law, telling you not to be a naughty boy. So there's the double layer of meaning, which I'm always looking for Not always, there are some cases where that's not appropriate, but in many photographs, it adds more to the photograph. Okay, so Diane. Diane is next. Yeah, Diane, you're up. Come on down. With a really stunning photograph of, it's both extremely simple and quite complex. It's simple because she just looked down and took a photograph of the surface of water with ripples, I guess. I mean, it's maybe it's the sea. I don't know. The thing is, you don't know. It's a strange color. You don't normally expect water to be gray. We're out of context here because you're looking down on the surface. There's no sense of what is it, a river? Is it a lake? Is it the sea? Are there trees behind? Is it just an empty horizon? Are there boats? We just don't know. You could think that it would be great for a sort of curtain pattern, or a bedspread. It might, and that sounds like an insult, but it's not. It's not, because if you look at this is nature's consistency, because waves look like waves. You look at waves and you think waves, and yet they are never, waves don't even exist. They're constantly changing. And here you can see nature's constant change, nevertheless captured. This is an instant of never-ending change, which is pretty awesome, as you Americans would say. So there's that. You can just sort of almost drown in the, pun intended, or not intended, I don't know, drown in those random curves and the bits of light, reflecting whatever it is above. But there's something magical here as well, really magical. In what is basically a black and white photograph, a sort of slightly dull gray one with beautiful tones, there are rainbows. I'm happy there are rainbows. Isn't that amazing? Look, on the edges of whatever these things are, the edges of some of the ripples, they break out into rainbow patterns. How amazing is that? Well, for someone who, a grown adult of 55 who starts most of his messages with a rainbow icon, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I really, I wasn't expecting something like that. And there it is. And it's so cool that you haven't put anything else in there. There's nothing else. That would be another photograph. But in this case, you haven't done that. There's even these tiny little white points scattered around. And we don't even know what they are. Is it reflecting the sun? We don't know. Just magical. Anyway, you get the point. I like it. The thing with photography, I zapped ahead too quickly there. The thing with photography is you don't know what's going to happen. That's how wonderful it is. You have no idea. It's an adventure. Every day I publish a photograph of Paris, normally, some aspect of Paris. But it could have been like the water, you see. If I took that in Paris, then it's a Paris photograph. It's a moment that I have lived. And the thing is, when I go into Paris, I arrive, I sometimes get off at a random metro station. I have no agenda. I have no idea what Paris, or Lady Eiffel, my muse, if you'll humor me, is going to offer me. And she always, darn it, she always does offer me a ton of stuff. And I always go home with between 5, 10, or 20 photographs that will make their way into the Paris Photo Chronicles. And that's amazing. And I can't remember why I'm saying that. Okay, so this is the last one from the 5-day challenge for today. And I absolutely love it. And not necessarily for the reason that you think. Because when we see photographs like this, normally we think, oh, cute dog, cute kitten, whatever. But no, this is part of the day one challenge. And the thing was to take photographs either looking up or looking down, or from lower than your normal eye height or chest height, down low, looking up or ahead, or up in the air. The dog's on a sofa. So in other words, it's at our bottom level when we sit down. So she's got the camera below the level. Teresa has got the camera below the level of the sofa. So she's down low, looking up towards her dog. There's something that happens when you look at creatures or kids who are normally lower than us. Their eyes are way below our eye level. There's something magical happens. Almost not disturbing, but we normally see kids looking down on tops of their heads, or, okay. Yeah, normally we're looking down slightly at kids, hopefully only in the literal sense. when you get on eye level with kids or on eye level with animals, something happens. There's a shift in the relationship between you. If you look at this dog, it doesn't look like a pet anymore. It doesn't look like our animal. It looks like a being in its own right. Of course it is, but you see what I mean? It's lost any sense of subordination or superior. I don't know what the word is. Inferiority that might be had from looking down. The same happens with kids. Take pictures of your kids from their eye level. It's a different look. It's quite strange. And he or she looks so peaceful, so beautiful, so serene. And the photograph is framed wonderfully as well. I mean, the dog's long and it's going off to the left. She's got the head to the right. The body goes off to the left. The body's almost complemented by the cushion on top. It's a beautiful, beautiful portrait of your animal, Teresa. Thanks for sharing that. All right, so I'll finish with one more photograph from me. Sorry, you don't get away with it that easily. And it's today's photograph. And it's one of the most beautiful Paris metros. It's Porte de Dauphine. And I decided to go symmetrical on this. I'm quite well known for my angles. In other words, try and find a photograph of mine that doesn't have angles in. Well, here's one. And I went the opposite. Normally, it's kind of my thing. And we talk a lot about your thing or your potential thing, artistic thing, path, etc., during the masterclass. But I decided to try and get this as symmetrical as possible. And bam, that's the result of a stunning subject, admittedly. And the little plus, well, actually, there's two pluses. There's two pluses in the shot. The first one is these two guys came. This is it, serendipity, pure serendipity. But I was there. So I don't think it's not 100% luck. I was there. But these two guys, they were sort of wandering and weaving. And I was taking the shot. I was taking the shot. And at one point, they were both perfectly positioned, the same height, the same distance from the middle, more or less, heading down. What, for me, that makes the shot. I mean, it takes it above like a tourist brochure shot of, yes, there are some pretty Paris metro stations. That's not what creative photography is about. It's about you adding to what you see in front in some way. And those guys are the way I did it. But it's not finished. I don't know if you can see this, but my son, this was on one of our trips around Paris. My son is in the shot. He doesn't detract. I say this in the nicest possible way. He doesn't detract from it at all because he's almost invisible. And yet my son, my boy, is in the photograph down at the bottom of the steps. And bit of sort of not cultural, zeitgeist. He's wearing a mask. And so is the guy on the left. He's got a mask hanging off his left ear. There you go. This is my photography, and this is this is the basis of my masterclass, which I'm going to show you now. So thanks for watching. If you don't need to watch anymore because you've already booked on the masterclass, then I get that. You're not going to listen to this just for the sound of my voice, but if you'd like to know more about the masterclass, here's 5 minutes on it. And feel free to ask questions, and I will now look at the chat. All right, so I've got Thomas saying hello. Hi, Thomas. I've got Susan has decided to do the masterclass, if I'm not mistaken. So that is fantastic. So this is a warm-up for you. Okay, there's 9 of these, 9 warm-ups to get you in the mood for the sort of things we can do in the masterclass. I hope you like it. So Nola is New Orleans. Nola. Anyway, it's not a chat show, so I've got to stop for. All right, so this will probably evolve. This section of 5 minutes will probably evolve over the 9 shows, because I haven't prepared anything other than the information page, which hasn't really evolved since last time, and I might evolve it. The new thing is, let me just show you very quickly. It's kind of strange. It's very, random what I'm doing here. The new thing is that I've got, there shouldn't be a hole there. I've got some testimonials from the last masterclass that happened in the spring. So if you want to check those out, I think I've got 8 people. There's a video here as well. One of them is in Spanish. 𝗬𝗧𝗪𝗧 did hers in Spanish. We had French people on it as well. I haven't got a French one yet. The others are in English. And that is really cool. If you want, they only last about a minute or two. If you want a quick sort of feedback from people who have done it this year, then check those out. It's really wonderful what they said. So it starts next week. Okay, it starts on Monday. There's early bird pricing until not very long, actually, until the weekend. So get in there if you like. Now, the thing with this masterclass is, well, there's many things. It's about you and your photography. Let me get to the mission statement, because there's a mission statement which really explains what this is about. Right, here it is. So it's the Creative Smartphone Photography Masterclass. Photography is first, the smartphone is second, okay? But also, because we've all got these amazing cameras and we'd love to be able to take better photographs with them, that's why I focused on smartphone, because I wanted to reach more people with how wonderful photography is. And also, to be honest, I really, I've got cameras like this too, but I really don't take them with me much, but I've always got this with me, which is why I've specialized in smartphone photography. But over and above the camera is you and the photographer's eye. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to develop your photographer's eye, master your smartphone camera, and produce a superb collection of original photographs under 9 inspiring themes in just 9 weeks to impress your friends and be extremely proud of. I mean, you do whatever you like with them, but that's the promise, and it's a promise. That's what you will get by the end. So it's not a vague sort of program where you listen to some stuff and you do it on your own, and by the end you think, well, okay. It's absolutely the opposite of that. It's a 100% experience-ified program. And by experience-ified, let me just show you a little bit about what that means. By the way, you get a full gallery of photographs by the end, your own gallery, which I create on a website, which you can show to people by the end. When I say it's a certified experience product, in other words, it uses all sorts of ways of engaging you, so that this isn't one of the 95% of the training courses you buy don't finish. It goes on your virtual shelf gathering dust. That's not what this is about at all. So it uses all possible ways of engaging you through lots and lots of interaction, checking up on you, making sure you're okay. There's a point system. There's celebrations on the platform. When you reach certain steps, you're in groups of people, so that you're in a pod, a small pod. So for each week's assignment, you can discuss it with your pod, and the pods change. You're not with the same people for the entire program. I mean, I don't know where to start with this. That's why it's a bit of a mess, because first and foremost, it's about your photographs getting better. Then I could talk about the program. Should I? So the promise is you'll turn your sad smartphone snaps into artistic masterpieces in 9 exciting weeks. And I could show you the galleries of people from the last session, but I won't this time. I'm trying to keep it short. So you develop your photographer's eye, master your smartphone, and create a stunning collection of photographs under 9 themes. So there are 9 weeks on the program. And let me just quickly show you, that's the blurb. I'll just quickly show you the modules. And then I'll call it a day until later on today, because I think I'm doing another one. So module 1 is discover the joy of photography. There are 5 modules. Module 1, I was going to count you through them there in case you didn't understand the concept of 5. So the 3 in the middle, modules 2, 3, and 4 are the core of the program, the guts of it. The first module is an introductory module, and it only lasts 1 week. It's to get you going fast. It's about the joy of photography. The second one is called Master Your Camera and Apps. That lasts for 2 weeks. And there's a week on your camera, making sure you know what it does and how to do it. And then another week on the amazing apps. You know, it's a smartphone photography course. We're allowed to use apps, folks. Don't worry about that. I'm not a purist. Module 3 is the biggie. This is the core of the entire program. It's 3 weeks long. By the way, there are break weeks. There are 2 break weeks before module 3 and after module 3. Okay, so you want to catch up, you want to take a break, you want to go and delve into the trainings that we've had already in more depth. There's plenty of time. And so module 3 is like grabbing all the techniques you need, all the amazing sort of stuff about composition, light, all that stuff is in module 3. Then you have your break week. Then it's module 4 is, let's call it the advanced one. You could be employing bits of module 4 from the word go, because it's about developing your eye. This is what takes photographs, even ones which have completely mastered the module 3 stuff, you know, wonderful composition, blah, blah, blah. It can still appear cold if your heart and soul isn't in the photograph. Heart and soul is what module 4 is about. And module 5 is 1 week. So it goes 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week. Even that is part of the system to get you to the end of this course with, you know, very, very happy and excited about your photography. People have created new blogs after this, and they're going great guns. And other people have discovered their thing. They've discovered that a certain aspect of photography is, they love it, and they're developing that. That's all, that sort of stuff comes out of this. And there are bonuses. There's a selfies pack. There's one-to-one coaching session. There's the archives, access to my archives of photo analysis. And for all I know, there will be more bonuses. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say to you. I'm trying to keep it to half an hour. I'm doing 9 of these. That was the first one. Let me come back to you. If you want the early bird bonus, click to join, and you type in early bird and you get the early bird bonus, which gives you 40% off the standard price. The address to go to is all over this video and the text, like a bad, I don't know what they say. It's infinitecreativitynow. If I'm really clever, I would actually have this. No, how unclever is that? This is fizzling out now, isn't it? It's basically infinitynow.com, but it's not newsletter. It's /masterphoto. I'll have to change that. So so that's it for today. That's it for this time. I think I'm going to do another one later on today. Hope you enjoyed it, and there'll be more photographs to analyze, and I hope to see you again soon and on the masterclass. So that's it for now. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.